Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
Make sure you watch the episode before watching this video because we will be giving details of the show. So make sure you watch the episode first. Hey y'all, I'm Ivy.
And I'm Yak.
And welcome to episode 2 of Show Realm. So on today's episode, we're going to discuss episode 2 of Archive 81.
You hear it?
Hear what?
But before we get started, make sure you get your drinks, your snacks, get everything ready so y'all can come by with us. Relax your body.
Clear your mind.
Open your soul. Forget everything you got going on at home, at work. Forget all that and come by with us. Welcome to our room.
Okay, so when the show starts, the first thing you see is this crazy commercial about a DNA kit from this company named Wellspring. So, right after that, the static can start. Here go Dan, running to the shoestring, about to call Mark, find out what's going on, tell him what's going on. He's really talking about just quitting at this moment. But then Mark like, nah, just play it cool. Be cool about it. So, Dan like, all right, okay, I got you. We'll do it like that. So basically, he tell Mark, tell him where he can go find all the files that for his dad, so he can get to the bottom of it.
And so now we're going back into Melanie's video, and it starts off with she's at a convenience store with Jess, and they run into Father Russo. So Father Russo is the priest that Jess was telling Melanie about. So she introduced him, and I would say the introduction is like a little awkward because it's just like a pause and then she's like, oh, well, here's my friend Melanie.
They're just looking at each other all crazy.
Yeah, and then they're talking about the visitor and stuff, and it's a brief interaction or whatever, but like I said, it was a little awkward. So they end up going back to the visitor, and when they get back there, Melanie and Jess run into Mrs. Wall, and like I say, this interaction is also weird because Mrs. Wall speaks to Jess and then introduce Melanie and all that, and she gives Melanie like a hug. I don't even know what to call it. It's like
no hug. It was like a, I don't know.
I don't know. It's like I don't know what to call it, but she basically sniffs her. Like, it's weird, y'all.
Aroma.
So after that little weird interaction, Jess takes Melanie to meet someone else in the building. So now the next lady that she meets name is Beatrice. So Beatrice is a fortune teller. Or a psychic, a medium, she does all that. So they was like, oh, just like you should sit down, get your fortune, told by Beatrice. So Beatrice does the 3 card, she pulled 3 cards. She does past, present, and future. So I don't exactly remember the past and the present, but I know she basically told her that, you have some trauma going on and this and that.
Yeah, that was from the past.
Yeah, and then
the present, she was looking for somebody.
Yeah. And then the future card. So the future card gets interesting because it's the Grim Reaper, and we all know what that means. That means death. So when Beatrice sees the card, she's kind of like, that doesn't have to, it doesn't have to mean literal. You literally dying. She tries to make it, tries to
soften her up a little bit.
Yeah, because Melody looks spooked. You see the Grim Reaper card, you like, that's the, that's something
you
don't want to
is.
see. Yeah. About her, and of course Beatrice said no, but she was like, there is, this weird someone that used to stay there. I'm not sure she knew who she was or something like that.
She didn't know of her, but she said could possibly know or be the person.
Could possibly know something about Julia Bennett, and basically directs her to where she lives and stuff like that.
So now at this point, Melanie all up in the hallway trying to steal the mail because she had told her about the mail overflowing. So when she told her about the mail overflowing, she see the little paper hanging out. She like, okay, I'm going to pull it out. I guess she's going to try to figure out who she is and find out more about her. So she meets Samuel. Now, when she meets Samuel, he's straight to the point. He basically inviting her to come to one of the other tenants' opera meeting. And then, but the whole time, they sitting there giving them little gazes and going back and forth.
Yeah.
You could tell they was feeling each other.
Yeah.
So now she got a date.
So now she got her little date, y'all. She go back into her apartment. She listening to her messages on her answering machine, and when one of the messages that she had, Dan realizes that that's his father on her answer machine. So now he's like, okay, definitely, definitely a connection or whatever. So he goes to the roof to try to make the call instead of going back to the shoestring because, he now knows that this place is bugged. So he's trying to find a different spot to talk to Mark. So he calls Mark. Mark doesn't answer. So he leaves a message on Mark letting him know, she for sure knew my dad and stuff like that. And so, he left his little message, got down. Well, not really got down, but he turned around and he sees somebody in the distance in a red jacket that's like staring at him. So he like, yo, what's up? So he tried to catch up to him, but of course it's too late. He couldn't catch up to the person in the red jacket. But now, that lets us know that somebody is spying on him and he's not there completely alone.
So now at this point, Dan is all spooked. He didn't call back to Virgil or trying to get in touch with Virgil. The whole time secretary stopped that. He out in the field. Dan like out in the field. What? Well, tell him to get here.
Secretary tried to get smart with him too. So he like, well, I need to. She was like, oh, well, you need to leave a message. He's like, well, I need to talk to him. It's important. And she's like, oh, that's your message. And I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
she was being crazy with him. So the next thing you know, he's stressed. He talking to the rat, and who shows up? His dad, like standing right behind him. So all of a sudden, he's standing up there and just start talking, but ain't nothing coming out. So while he doing this, he take off. When he take off, Dan right behind him. So they walking, speed walking basically.
Yeah, I'm like, damn.
They ain't nobody running.
What
or
is
nothing.
you doing? Like, what is you doing, Dan?
He just speed walking after him. So he lose him. First thing he see is some girl going into the room. So he like, let me check this room out. He knock on the door, and who is it? It's Melody.
So Dan then wakes up. So it's basically like everything that happened was like a dream.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine.
And so he goes back to working on the tapes and stuff. So now Melanie, got ready for her date, picking out her little, trying to be a little sexy outfit or whatever. So she goes to the opera house and, she meets Samuel. And she had a brief interaction with Tamara, and I feel like this kind of was like eye-opening because basically Tamara's like, oh, you're here, blah blah blah, and then Melanie is like, yeah, Samuel invited me, and then Tamara's like, and she just started laughing and like a little smirk and just walk away. So I'm like, what's going on there, or whatever. So anyway, she's watching this. Samuel end up showing up. They end up, watching the opera together. And the opera, they start playing this weird song again. So it's the same song that she, made her feel some type of way in Tamara's apartment where she almost passed out. So she starts to get lightheaded and start, getting a little dizzy. And
having one of them attacks.
yeah, and then Samuel notices it and he was like, oh, we can go sit someplace else. So they end up going to someplace else, talking, chatting it up. And they end up leaving or whatever. And when they left, they got, they went back to the visitor and, they smooching, had a little, a little scene or whatever. And he's like, oh, so, I can go get us some drinks or whatever. And he was like, what you want? And, look up, oh, I want whiskey. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, she ready.
So she go back in and she meets Jess. And Jess is like, there was somebody that was looking for you. And she was kind of, getting like a little out the way or whatever. So she was like, I just let her in your room. So then Melody goes in her room and it is Annabelle. So Annabelle is asking about Samuel because she was in the room when they was smooching and she saw
looking
them
all
outside.
out the window.
Yeah, and so she's asking about Samuel. She's telling her they chatting it up. So then there's a knock on the door because remember Samuel went to go get the drinks. So he come back with the drinks and Annabelle is there and he looking like what's going on or whatever. So I'm thinking like he gonna laugh it off or whatever, but he was like, nah, he was not having it. He was like, I think he gave him the drink. He was like, here the drinks, and we could do this some other time or something like that. And I'm just like, yo, like chill. So yeah, he was not having that. So he ended up leaving.
Yeah, so he out the way. So then it jumped back to Dan. So it go back to Dan, and now Dan, he rummaging through the pantry, and first thing he noticed is the wall hollow. So he like, wall hollow. I'm gonna go find something. I gotta see what's back there.
Because that's just what people do. The wall's hollow, so we just gonna mess everything up.
So he go look around. Sure enough, he found one of them big wrenches. He start beating on the wall, put a whole hole through the wall. I'm talking about a hole big enough that you can walk through.
Going, bro. If you walk through that door, we're done. If you walk through that door, we're done. Wow.
So now he walking through the hole. Then got down there. It's a whole basement. He go down the stairs, more rooms,
Yes.
whole lot of stuff. Rooms, a long hallway. The rooms are locked. Most of the rooms is locked. But he go into another room, open up the room, and what does he find out? He pop out, and there's a church there. So he in the church. He like, what's going on? So, sure enough, Virgil come behind him. Virgil got the whole wrench. So I'm like, oh, he about to take him out.
Yeah, Virgil confronting him like, you know. So Virgil gets in there and he starts talking about, he gets into religion and all that. He talks about in class he had a debate and it was talking about how Jesus is evil and stuff like that. So he gets into that whole debate and basically was like, you shouldn't be down here in the first place, and basically was threatened to fire him, for breaking a hole in his wall and then going down, into the basement. So Dan is like, he like, nah, you not finna fire me because my daddy was on them tapes. You knew my daddy was on them tapes and stuff like that. So then Virgil tries to offer Dan some transparency. It's like, I'm gonna be transparent with you and stuff like that, about his dad. So he gives Dan his dad's temporary leave paperwork because Dan didn't know that his daddy was actually put on temporary leave. So, after they have that little discussion, Virgil's now leaving and he tells him, you don't have to stay here, stay stuck on this property. They have a store or something 14 miles up there, and they have a bike that you can use to get to the store, or a little town, and they had, different stuff down there.
So Dan ain't trying to hear that. Dan like, okay, I'm gonna go back to work. So back to the tape. So now Melody's, she down in the community room. So they're having a whole cult meeting down there. So she basically hiding and recording the whole thing.
Because she snuck down there in the first place because she heard a lot of noise. So, mind you, it was late at night, right?
Yeah.
So she snuck down there into the community room and then she see this cult stuff going on. It was weird, y'all.
So now everybody humming. And then all of a sudden they go from humming to hyperventilating. Everybody in there having a panic attack except for Miss Wall. She just calm. They flip the camera. They got this weird ass leprechaun looking character inside a wardrobe in the front, at the front of the front area where everybody can see.
What is going on in this building?
So I'm like, they worshiping the leprechaun. So then, okay, everybody leaving out. I'm like, she gotta get the hell out of there.
Yeah, I was scared for her. I'm like, this is finna go bad.
So she cut from behind wherever she hiding at. I think in the closet where all the clothes was at or something. She hiding in there, and she get ready to come out, somebody coming in.
So she sees Samuel and Tamara. So they in there doing the thing, y'all. So she in there the whole time. They do the little deed.
Doing the thing. That was like a quickie.
They do the little deed. They end up leaving. And so she finally gets to escape. And she goes in, trying to wake up Annabelle, telling her everything that's going on. And so, she then goes into talking about the real reason why she's at the visitor. And the real reason why she's at the visitor is, she's looking for Julia Bennett. But Julia Bennett is actually her birth mom. So her birth mom ended up leaving her, when she was real young. And, she wanted to find out more about her. And she knew that she, was at the visitor. So she thought this would be a good place for her to find her. So while she's telling her this, she hears something at the door. But when she goes, to look out the door, nobody's there.
So Dan like, okay, I'm through with work. That's enough of this. I'm about to find that bike and hop on that bike, and I'm getting out of here. So what he do? He go meet Mark. So basically, he show Mark the papers that Virgil gave him about his dad. And basically, Mark, he done his little research. He LMG, they involved in everything. Defense, the health care, everything. So real estate, but no wellspring. That's suspicious,
Right. That's weird.
right? So Mark found all the Dan's tapes and he gives them to him and tells Dan that he knows where Mel's located at and that she's alive. So no, tune in tomorrow.
Yep, so that's where we're going to end the video today. So yeah, that's it for our video today. Tune in tomorrow so you can, see our take and on episode 3. So let us know what you felt in the comments about episode 2 and, the little predictions y'all are making about what's going on. So thank y'all for watching. Like, subscribe, and come get this fire content.